podcast. Makes me happy, as you can tell. Anyway, so I'll just get straight into it. So I started this martial art called Taekwondo. I started actually when I was about 11 because we had my mum used to work late, so I used to go to like after school clubs, so I'd take part in activities after school, just while like she was like commuting to come and get me, and I basically did an activity where it was like a taster session of this martial art, and I was like, oh, I'll give it a go. So I did, and so yeah, I took part in it, and I did enjoy it. I stopped when I was about, how old was I? I think maybe 14, just because it was quite a big class, and I found that sort of thing quite, I don't know, it triggered my anxiety a little bit, but as an adult, as I got back into it, when it was a few years ago now, maybe, I think it was like end of 2021, there was a Christmas party, in 2021ish, and I spoke to the teacher, and he was like, you were really good, like you should come back. And I was like, I do want to, I'm just like, it's just like a lot of people in a room at once, so it's like quite overwhelming, and he was really supportive, and my mother is a black belt, so she was really encouraging as well. So yeah, I got back into it, and then it just kind of progressed from there, and it's been 3 years now, and still loving it. Now, the belts, it's interesting because you start off with white, and then it goes like a white belt with like a yellow stripe in it, and it goes yellow belt, green stripe, green belt. Now, when I was a teenager, I stopped at green stripe, and then when I rejoined a few years ago, I was a green stripe then, so I technically had green on my belt for like 10 years. So these past few gradings, I finally got green off my belt. So you go green stripe, green belt, and then there's a blue stripe on your green belt, and then a blue belt, and then you get a red stripe on your blue belt, and then go to red belt, and then it's black stripe, and then you get to black belt, and then you have the different degrees. Yeah, I'll just call it degrees. Different levels of black belt, so you can go from like first degree, second degree, third, all the way to 7, I believe. And the grading examiner, I think he's quite high in he's quite high up in the like degrees. I feel like he's a 6th degree, maybe, or 5th degree. He's very, very good. He's very good, and he's very nice as well. So I'm just gonna have a drink because I'm really thirsty. Yeah, it's been really hot today, and I'm not very good at drinking water, so I've got water with me. And also, I find it helps me whisper and do like the voice changing from soft to, or like soft spoken to whispering, like that. Because a couple of people have asked me to do that as well, and I've been a bit like, I'm not very good at it, but I'm giving it a go. Now this is the bit I've been really excited for. This is my belt. This is my belt. This is the belt that I received nearly a week ago. As you can see, it's blue. It's blue. red stripe in it. So the next belt after this will be a full red belt, and then it goes one with black stripe, and then black belt. So the actual gradings themselves, because people have asked me like, what's grading, like what is that? So after I got my blue belt, it was about 6 months ago now, I was like, I'm gonna get red on my belt. I'm going to get red on my belt. So like 6 months ago, I booked the day off on my grading, which was back in April, like end of April, and I booked that day off, just because I knew I'd be really nervous. And when you get to blue belt, you're considered like a senior, so when you get your belt, you get a badge as well, just like to like introduce you to the senior sort of level. So yeah, I basically at a grading, you have to wear like your full dobok, which is a like training suit, and you have to look like smart, like no piercings, nothing, as usual, because it's like it's martial art, and you never really know what you're gonna do, because it's kind of the best way I can describe it is like a class, but you just get examined. So in a class we'll get like put into pairs, or we'll get told to do certain things and we'll do it. But in a grading you can just get examined, so you do exactly what you do in a class. You just have to put in like 100% as you normally would, and you just give it your all. And with me and a couple of the other senior grades that were grading, we would get asked questions when we were on the floor, just to be like, oh, so what move is that? And because it's a Korean martial art, we'll also get asked if we know it in Korean as well. And I memorised like all my theory, like I've got flashcards with like certain blocks and what they mean. So like rising block, when you do that, it's called Chukyomaki. So like things like that. Yeah, so it's basically like a class where you get examined. And in mine we had to do patterns, which is like a set of movements. We had to do like something called step sparring. So you're sparring, but you have to deliver like certain moves. And then you had like different steps. So there's 3-step, 2-step, and 1-step, which is where you step forward once, step forward twice, or 3 times, doing like certain moves. And it's kind of hard to explain without actually doing it. So yeah, I had to do that, and I tried to like, whenever the grading examiner addresses you, you have to like stand in like a respectful manner. It's called like chariot stance, which means ready. So you have to stand like that when you're talking to him. And any time, I don't know if this was necessary or not, but any time he addressed me, any time he asked me to do anything, I would bow. It's because a sign of respect. And when he dismissed me and he was like your grading is finished, you can go to the table now, which I'll get to in a second, I like bowed and I said thank you, just as a sign of respect. I'm not sure if you're supposed to do that, but there's no harm in not doing it. There's no harm in doing it, sorry. So yeah, and I feel like it's the best grading that I've done since I've started Taekwondo. Yeah, and then when you're finished and you go to the table, there's like 3 or 4 black belts, and that's where you get asked questions like, can you name your different hand parts, and do you know the Korean words, your pattern, do you know the meaning, do you know how many moves there are? Like, they can ask you anything, and because I'm a senior grade, it's very likely they'll ask me stuff that I would have learned at the beginning when I first started Taekwondo. It's very likely that they'll ask me something like that, as well as my current stuff, so I have to be refreshed on everything. And I think it's a good thing anyway, because as you get into the higher belts, especially when you grade to do your black belt, you have to do everything perfectly, and you have to know your stuff, because they can fail you. And sometimes some people, like, they fail, and it just gives them the boost that they need to, like, do it even better. But I remember after the grading, I went into like another room after I went to the table and did my questions, and it was quite sweet actually. There's a girl there, she's like 10, 15 years younger than me, and she was like, "How did you do?" And I was like, yeah, I think I did good. I knew all my questions, and I just gave it my best, and that's all you can do really. And then we went back into the hall, and he was talking to us about like everything, and he's like, Taekwondo's like life, like you've got to like practice, and it's never always perfect, but it's fine. And he said about he had a friend who failed one of his gradings, and I thought, oh my god, has someone failed? But we all passed. Everyone in my class who took part passed. It was really cool. And then after the grading in the next class, you get like your belt and you get a certificate as well, which is I really like getting. Even the certificates from when I did my gradings when I was like 11, 12, I've still got all of them. Just because they're sentimental and means a lot. So I feel like I did good. But yeah, I'm super pleased that I've got this far. And it just, I don't know, it kind of gave me a confidence boost, because I always thought like, am I going to even be able to get to black belt? And just getting this far, because I am red belt, so I'm 3 belts away from getting my black belt, and I know, I just find that really exciting. And another thing about gradings is that every 3 months, except when you get to blue belt, so when you're a senior, you have to wait 6 months. Just because it's like it gets a bit more difficult when you get to senior. And then afterwards you have like, you can go to like seminars as well, where you specifically have red belt, like for red belts only, and you have training sessions, so you can kind of get like a taste a day of what your black belt grading might be like. And I believe there's something called a pre-grading, so if you're like, right, I'm a black stripe, I want to get my black belt, so when you want to do that, there's something called a pre-grading, and you have to pass that first before you go for your black belt grading. But I think that's a good idea to have, because then at least you're not going in like, oh, what do I do? It's kind of like a mock test, and if you pass it, like, that gives you the confidence you need. And if there's like areas you thought, oh, I need to get better at that, before I go for my black belt grading, like, I don't know, I just think it's a good idea. Yeah, that's kind of my story really. That's my story. That's what happened last week. That's why I've been so chirpy. Yeah, and like having like the support of my mum being there as well, because she was at the table. And actually when I answered my questions, it was someone else asking me, and when I left, because I answered all the questions and left, and I heard the other black belt say to her, like, I was trying to catch her out, but I can't. So yeah, I feel like that grading was my biased, but she also thought I did really well as well. But I feel like I did well, and